Hello everyone, how's life? This is Jacob from the Linux Cafe. This is day 5 of our C programming course. In this video we're going to talk about arrays, and we're going to go through arrays using this reference, BJ C programming reference, which is a good one. So you can download it from my channel, or sorry, I drank water. So you can download it from my channel, or you can visit the BJ blog. So what are arrays? Let me just open a file called array.c, by the way. So we're going to say include stdio.h and the main function and return 0. Okay, so it does nothing. Let's go. What are arrays? So should array indices start at 0 or 1? My compromise of half was rejected without, I don't know, blah blah blah. Let it go. Let's start the serious section. Luckily C has arrays. Of course it has. I mean, I know it's considered a low level language, but it does at least have the concept of arrays built in. So, and since a great many languages drew inspiration from C syntax, you're probably already familiar with using opening and closing brackets. Okay? So what does that mean? It means that in declaring and defining arrays, you're going to see this syntax a lot. Opening and closing brackets. So this is the syntax of an array. The data, let me change this to Alfred is good. Data type and the array name, opening brackets, size, closing brackets, semicolon, or you're going to see data type, array name, opening closing brackets, no size. The compiler will understand it automatically if you are defining the array at the same time, at the same place. So opening brace, for example, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, sorry, 10. Okay, 10, leave it. So like this, if the data type is an int, this is valid. So I have defined my array at the same place without giving the size. Okay, so these are the two ways you can define an array. So let's explain the first one, because the second one is obvious enough. So as the easy example says, let me just read this as well, but C only barely has arrays. As we'll find out later, arrays are just syntactic sugar in C. They're actually all pointers and stuff deep down. So when we reach the pointers section in the pointers video, I'm going to talk about this. Freak out, but for now let's just use them as arrays. So as the example in the book, it says float, this is our data type, f, this is the name of the array, and 4 is the size of the array. Okay, so we declare an array of 4 floats. Okay, and here we say f0 because the index of an array starts from 0. Say 3.14159, for example. 1 is something else. 2 is something else. And the last one is something else. Okay, so now I have an array with the data type of float. Its name is f, it has a size of 4, So because these actually index starts from 0, I'm saying like f index 1 has this data, f index 1, sorry, f index 0 has this data, f index 1 has this one, f index 2 and 3 is the last one. Because if you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, this is all about the size 4 of our array. So it starts from 0, not 1. And for printing them all out, you can use a for loop, which I'll record a separate video in the future, but right now I'll just write this and I'll explain it fast. But why are we going to use arrays? Imagine a user wanna or wants to uh, enter three numbers of all type int. Okay, this is important that all the numbers are of type int or all of them are type float. So instead of instead of declaring three separate variables, okay, I'm going to define an array of type int with size 3. So I'm going to say, for example, int numbers nums, okay, 3. And I'm going to hold the data that the user is going to give me an input in this array instead of three separate variables, okay? So that's it. That's one of the main usages of arrays in C or in any other programming language. And for printing out the data of an array, it's not like Python to do something like this, you know. For example, I say Python 3, of course, okay. For example, here we say LST of, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and true and false, and for example, give me a name like Jacob. Okay, arrays, sorry, lists in Python, we don't have lists in C, are just like this. For example, you can add as many data as you want with different data types they have, okay. But in C it's not like that. When you say it's a float, you cannot, here you cannot say, for example, like why I type like this today. Here you cannot say this. Okay? This is wrong. So, when we want to print it out, we can just say, I think, print lst, okay? And that's it. It prints it out. But in Python, in C, it's not like that. You're going to use a for loop. Or, you're going to say printf %f \n. I'm going to say, for example, f0. Or I'm going to say f1. And that's it. In this way I'm printing it out. So, but here, with using a for loop like this, int I 0, while I is less than 4 I plus plus or plus plus I, no difference. Here it has no difference. Opening and closing braces, or because here we have only one statement inside the for loop, we can just skip these braces and simply say printf what %f \n, like 0.2, so just with the second precision. So you can say f of I. And now you can guess why I is 0, because while I is 0, you know, the index starts from 0, so I is 0, f of 0, then I increases. then I is 1. Then we'll print f of 1. Then I gets increased again because it checks like this, I is I smaller than 4? So yes it is. So increases I, okay, and prints out again. So f is 2, it prints out, it checks the condition if 2 is smaller than 4, of course it is, so increases another time. F is 3, prints out and checks another time, increases and checks another time. So I is 4, so it will just exit the loop, and that's it. It's not going to actually print the f of 4, because we are checking like if I is smaller than 4, not equal. So if I gets equal to 4, it's going to exit the loop. But if I do like this, I'm going to ruin everything. By the way, I'm going to record a separate video for actually loops in C. So while I is smaller equal to 4, so it's going to be like this. So you can see that this is a random value. True. So this way it is solved. When you declare an array, you have to give it a size, and the size has to be fixed. Okay? It means that I cannot take the size of an array from input. So I must just statically hard code the size of an array if I want to give it a size, like this one. Like this one. Here I cannot say, for example, int size 0, then for example some scanf stuff, and then for example saying size like this. Okay, that's wrong. You don't have to do it, even if it works randomly. That's not correct. So what else in this video? Getting the length of an array using the size of function. So if you give me permission, let me just cross a line here. So it says, you can say just printf percent zu backslash and for bytes, and you can say size of f. So it says 16. Why 16? Because each float is 4 bytes. So simple math, it's 16. It's 16 bytes. And that's it. And of course, using this way, this method, we can simply say oh, my bad. It says 4 because I'm doing a simple division. I'm actually taking the size of the first index of float, which is 4 bytes, and I'm dividing it in the total size of the float's array, which is 16. So it gives me 4, which is the size of my array. Okay? Now, what if I just put it like 5, oh, 54, sorry. So it gives me 5, so it still works. So this is one of the ways that you can dynamically find out the size of your arrays in a C program. So that's it for the arrays in this video. In the next videos we're going to talk more about arrays stronger with more examples according to this book and outside of this book. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.